Alright. By the way, guys, before I started the stream, I was getting myself some aqua, and I just heard from the window some dude awooing, just going awoo, and I was just like, who the fuck? Who's out there awooing? I didn't see the person, but like it was just so odd to hear that coming from your apartment window outside. Just like some dude doing that. I mean, it is Saturday. It is Saturday. It's Saturday 10:35 right now, so it makes sense that he was out there having a good time. And who are we here to blame? Who are we here? He's having a good time. Nobody's stopping him. Let him win as much as he wants. Come on. Let him be who he is. Let's see. He's having a good time, and let's see if SCP repeating house is also a good time, shall we? For everybody on YouTube, though, before you do that, the subscribe button, the like button, all that shit, just give it a quick love tap. Show the subscribe button and like button as much as a good time as the guy that wooed outside my window. And here we go. Repeating house, correct? Yeah, repeating house is a Euclid. Oh boy. This is wait, in Spanish? I'll translate it from Spanish. Okay. I was like, if you're gonna make me read Spanish, I'm gonna leave. Okay, Euclid. Two agents are to interrogate themselves in the town of Argentina under civilian guise. Integrating agents are to move into 12th Street, a purchased house, in order to maintain constant surveillance of SCP-1551. Any civilian coming within 30 meters of SCP-1551 are to be questioned, and if not found to be an instance of -X, given a Class C amnestic and released. New instances of -X are to be interviewed for confirmation of having gone through the events associated with SCP-1551 before being allowed into SCP-1551. At this time, precautions against a resident of SCP-1551 leaving the containment area are not necessary. SCP-1551 is a house located in Argentina. SCP-1551 is associated with a repetitive sequence of events that target humans, causing them to eventually be forced by circumstances to live in SCP-1551. Was it a nice house at least? I mean, do you have a pool? These humans are individually assigned a number so that the first known human under SCP-1551 will be referred to as -1, the second human -2, the third as -3, and so on. When the previous human living in SCP-1551 dies, the sequence of events associated with SCP-1551 repeats. According to reports dating as far back as the events have repeated themselves 23 times, with the current individual being -23. Almost all iterations have begun with the previous individual's suicide, with the only exception being an accident from falling off the roof of SCP-1551 doing repairs. Not sure. There's some darkness to this. You know, I always say to myself, like, I don't think I would ever live in a house where a person died under strange circumstances. If an old man died, or an old woman, if an old person died in their sleep in the house, I'm like, that's fine, that happens. But if somebody told me, like, yeah, so some person like committed suicide in this house, or a person fell off the roof, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm gonna look around for a different house. Thank you very much. I'm good. Like, I wonder, and it is odd to like think about how many people actually exist that are fully okay with that. Like, oh, somebody died in here. Oh well. It's not, nothing's gonna happen. It's not like I'm not that person. I'm not the same. I don't have the same mentality as that person. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with what I got, so I'm not gonna do that. But still, like, the idea, I don't know. Even though, like, the idea, like, horror movies have like manifested this idea of like it's bad juju. I also just think in real life it just leaves a bitter taste in my mouth when somebody tells me like somebody died in this house, and I'll be like, no. The exact mechanism of these events are currently unknown, with multiple theories being discussed. See document 1551-1T for more information. A tentative theory of the events associated with SCP-1551 have been established. See addendum -T for more details. SCP-1551 appears as a house in extremely dilapidated state. So it's not even a nice house, god damn. The building itself is not known to exhibit anomalous properties apart from those attributed to the events. Research is ongoing. See interview log -23-2 for more details. SCP-1551 contains a kitchen, a living room, 3 bedrooms, and 2 bathrooms. So 3 bedrooms is pretty nice though. That's pretty good. That's a good house. 2 bathrooms as well. Yeah, that's good. The house has no functioning plumbing, heating, or electricity. Now that's bad. Now that's a bit of a problem. The house itself has only basic furnishing, with the current -23 living primarily in the kitchen. In the kitchen? -23 is a male of Ashkenazi Jewish descent, approximately 43 years of age. Subject spends all his time attempting to repair SCP-1551. This task is impossible for a single person. The only time he has seen outside of SCP-1551 is to tend to the backyard garden, the only area of the property not in a state of gross disrepair. Now, is that a thing that, like, this person has decided on themselves, or is the SCP making them just living in the kitchen and not go outside? Like, is that just who they are, or is that part of the anomalous effect? -23 is fully cooperative towards any Foundation personnel and has lived on the property for years, the longest of any human that has lived in SCP-1551 since coming into Foundation custody, the average being 3 months. So, but it's not double digit yet, so it could be between 1 to 9 years then. Which is impressive, thinking that the average is 3 months. And this is the 23rd person that has lived in that house. Well, addendum T. Through multiple interviews with humans who have lived in SCP-1551 and the collaborative efforts of Dr. A tentative theory has been established of the sequence of the events associated with SCP-1551. This sequence is theorized to accommodate minor variations in circumstances and temperament of each instance. This theory states that the purpose of the event is to force a human into a position where occupying SCP-1551 and attempting to repair it unaided is the only option. I see, that's why he's doing it alone. Because I was thinking when I said, like, it's impossible to do it by itself, I was like, well, then why not just have help? But it looks like it's the SCP itself is like making you do it alone. The sequence comprises 2 parts. Initially, events place the subject in a situation of relative prosperity. Subsequently, this prosperity is taken away. The general process of the events associated with SCP-1551 are as follows. Oh, here we go now. Here we go. The first part of the events typically involve moving the targeted human instance to, usually through an offer of work. At this point, if the targeted human was close with their family, they have a misunderstanding which causes them to no longer be on speaking terms. Oh, that's sad. As a person who went through some family drama, it's not a good time. It's not a good time. I was fine, but like I witnessed a lot of family drama happening, and it's a lot better now, of course. But like when it does happen, it's just not good. Especially not on speaking terms anymore. That's extreme. The instance eventually meets and marries a resident of. If the couple is fertile, they will have a child before part 2 begins. I don't like that the SCP has a whole. I never. It's a good thing. It's a good thing on the SCP part, but like, it always worries me when children are involved, or pregnancy is involved. I think ever since I read that one SCP was all about, like, you know, a bunch of insects just eating a child and just becoming the body becomes a husk that the insects control. Ever since then I was like, ugh. Whenever a child is involved, I'm just like, Please be okay. Please be fine. The second part of the sequence begins with the spouse of the targeted human leaving them. The spouse typically takes most of their wealth either shortly before or shortly after the subject will lose their job and become unable to maintain the current standard of living. So that's why suicide. It just all goes downhill now. At this point, they are informed of SCP-1551, which, if repaired, could be bought cheaply and was sold for an extremely high price. That's fucked up. That is very messed up. This person lost their job, will lose their loved one, their money, and then this SCP is like, yeah, but if you repair me and sell me off, you might get a fair price. This SCP is literally like, oh, you seem to be desperate. It's like in Squid Games when like everybody was like desperate for money, so you were willing to just do anything. It's like, hey, just participate in this murder game for me. But in this case, it's a house. Like, hey, just repair me. That's how you gotta do. The targeted human purchases the property over the option of homelessness. If they have any money left, the remaining savings will go towards hiring construction crews, which invariably fail for a wide variety of reasons, such as fraud, freak accidents, and sudden bankruptcy of the construction company. This is depressing. It's good though. I like it. I like this SCP because it's like, it really is just like, it just keeps like fucking going in. It's like, you're already down low. You're already on the ground, just begging for whatever God out there is to like help you out, and then this SCP just decides to like, hey, come on, I can help you out, and next thing you know, shit goes worse. That's good. I like this. Once remaining funds are exhausted, they will move into SCP-1551 themselves and attempt to repair it alone. At this point, the sequence is considered complete until the death of the instance, initiating another iteration. That is, oof. I need to just answer somebody real quick, and then I'll be right back. Interview log. Okay, here we go. Interview log -1. It must be the person that inherited had a chance. This interview was to confirm -23's experiencing of the events associated with SCP-1551. Also, now that I think about it, all this shit happened right here, right? And this person has lived at least a couple years in that house. God. The willpower you must have to try to repair that thing. Okay, so interviewed -23. Interviewer Dr. J. Please state your name for the record. It's actually, what do you people want? I already have enough to take care of. Calm down. Answer our questions and we'll let you go. Fine. Tell me how you came to. It's pretty far away from where you're from, right? You speak with an accent. Yes, I'm from. I was looking for work overseas. Got this job offer. Since I already spoke some of the language and they told me I didn't need an interview, I went on over. I worked in manual labor. It was a hard job, but it paid well. What are you doing on owning such a house? There are some apartments close to town. I said was. I'm not working anymore. The company went bankrupt a little while ago. Tried to start a hotel business, but stopped because of other matters. Explain. Do you want every facet of my life? Just answer the question and we'll let you go. This is all confidential. I met a pretty girl while working. Her name was. We dated and got married when times were good. Had a baby. Beautiful little boy. We named him Matthew. Then, one day, woke up and our little Matthew was. He wasn't here anymore. Taken. If by stolen you mean by taken by God, you thick-headed bastard, my Matthew was dead. And blamed me. Me! I would never have harmed him. She left me and took half my savings with her. Ran off with some rich asshole. I don't even have enough money to hire a crew for this house anymore. Now leave me alone. Thank you. That'd be all. That's... Oh, fucking hell, dude. That is harsh. Now that is harsh. This interview was initially to question 23's about his experience in SCP-151 a year after the initial interview. Oh, this was a year after. Okay. So tell me about your house. It's old, probably a century, maybe more. I didn't do the research. Hey, do you goons stash food or something around for me? Especially that man snooping around, the one with the kind smile. Thanks, I appreciate it. Go into more detail. Don't play dumb with me. Sometimes I find food in crevices, non-perishable canned stuff. Sometimes I can warm them, other times I just open them and eat cold. At first I thought it was just the previous owner, person who lived here and forgot to move out with the food. Then I keep finding food in places. Old shelves I was repairing would happen to have some canned soup tucked in the back. I explore that colored attic and find another stash of food. It's not enough to keep me full, but it's enough to keep me alive. I appreciate it. Every agent that has been on duty around -23 has denied this claim. The entity further specified does not match the description of any agent on current roster for 23. Possibly anomalous activity is currently undergoing investigation. That's kind of creepy. The idea of some guy that smiles at you, just like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? You want some food? Come on. I mean, while this guy is suffering. Is there anything else unusual you find while working on your house? Unusual? Well, it's a pretty old house. There's not like any ghosts you mentioned or something. This place gets me down though. Every time I feel like I'm going to quit this place and get my act together, something comes along and knocks the wind right out of me. Just the other day, I found a newspaper about that bastard and his fat new government contract. Who exactly? That guy the whore ran off to after stealing my savings. Who else? Anyway, I didn't feel much like doing anything else that day. I just sat around the house and looked at my lists. Thank you, that will be all. End notes. As a result of this interview, investigations of the potential for anomalous properties manifested by SCP-151 have been launched as of 2000. Information of these investigations can be found in document I. Alright. I really like that one. It was... It's very ruthless. Like, the idea behind it is very ruthless, what it does to a person, right? It just keeps kicking you while you're down. The fact that the fact that -23 stayed in that house for so long and is still going at it. And it's kind of messed up. Like, the idea of moving out of that house is not even like fathomable, because like they lost everything: family, job, loved ones, a child in this case as well. The child was dead. That's so messed up. It's so messed up that that person has to go through all that just because the house is like, hey man, you can repair me and get some big bucks, and it's never going to happen. This person has been at it for years. There's nothing left. But the willpower that this person has to just keep going is incredible. Because in that state, majority of the people probably would have a long time given up.